Hi, and welcome to the Preach to Me channel. Thank you for joining me here. Can you hear me? Is everyone out there? I'm not sure if this is recording or not. Put a 1 in the chat if you can see me and hear me. I'm not sure if you can or not. Welcome to the Preach to Me channel. It was good to be live with you today. If you can see me and hear me, put a 1 in the chat. I'm not sure if I'm on the same recording or not. There I am. Can you see me and hear me? Okay. Sound check, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Okay, well, welcome to the weekend edition. Happy Easter, Passover, Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. Thank you very much for the support today. This is the Preach to Me channel. I'm Tony. I'm your host. It's so nice to see everyone in person. I'm new at this live stream, so if my video is a little fuzzy or the background's a little fuzzy, I just trying still to get technology. Hello, Miss Love. It's so nice to see you in here. Hello to everyone coming in. Once again, this is the Tony. I'm your host, the financial channel, Preach to Me. And this is my first live stream, so I'm still getting the technical difficulties down, technicalities down. But it's so good to be with everyone today, and to be live with you in person. And this is me in the flesh. And so today we have so much to go over. Just briefly today, first of all, I want to say happy Easter, happy Passover to all my friends across the United States today. And you know, everything that's going on this week. This is the first official start of spring. And you know, the markets were closed today as a result of the holidays and everything. And so it's good to take a break and to kind of reflect on these past first months, the first quarter of the year here. And I'm going to take this as a question and answer session. And so I want to take any questions that you have for me in terms of financial advice, just in general, or things in general that you've heard on my channel. You know, we've talked about a lot over the hyperinflation, this prepping, the survival prepping guide. And many other things that are upcoming in the future. This is my first live stream. Once again, my name is Tony. I'm the host of the Preach to Me channel. This is my first live stream, and so there's a lot of technical difficulties, but I'm happy to be in person, face-to-face with you. There was supposed to be a background things in back, but I couldn't get it to work this time. It's so good to see you, Miss Love. I see you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for Yami, other people that have been supporting me on this channel. Thank you so much for your support. Once again, this is your time to ask questions of me. live and in person here over the course of the next 30 minutes. And so I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, financial questions, prepping questions, questions about different things. I'm not a financial advisor or a planner. That's a disclosure. But we've talked about a lot on this channel. We've talked about the rising cost of living in America in terms of the housing structure. Excuse me, not just in highly populated states. Everyone always talks about Florida and California being the predominant states when it comes to housing and cost of living and stuff like that, and also taxes. Florida has no state income tax and things of that nature. But there's other things that need to be factored into this equation too as well. So once again, this is your chance to ask me question and answer session. If you have any questions or if you have anything, please answer it ask it in the chat, and we will get to it during the course of this 30-minute show here with me today. So if you have any questions or anything that you want to ask today, now is the time that you can put it in the chat, or you can send it to us in the comments below, and I will answer it directly for you. Once again, we've talked about a lot from inflation, food shortages is big. Gas prices, you notice they've come down some, 10%. Hi, Yami. So good to see you too as well. I'm finally in the flesh. I had some technical difficulties with my background, guys. Please excuse my technical difficulties. I'm new to the live stream community, so I'm working on that. But we're going to work out the kinks. We're going to get all that worked out soon. But this is your chance to ask any questions that you may have. There's a question and answer session. So any questions that you may have of me, please be free to ask them in the chat at this time, whether it's financial, personal, related to prepping, survivalist, financial questions, how to manage, with the rising costs that we have and gas prices and everything. Oh, you're in Central Florida, Mr. S. That is wonderful. I used to actually live down there a long time ago during my high school days in Orlando and Altamont Springs area, if you're probably familiar with that. But yes, I've lived in Central Florida as well, so I'm definitely familiar with that area. It's good to see you, Mr. S, Yami, Mrs. Love. Thank you for joining me. This is a question and answer session that I'm having right now for those just coming in. Any questions you may have about financial news that we've discussed on this channel or off the channel, and also with survival preps and things of that nature. How are you guys doing for your Easter, Passover celebrations? I know things are getting sort of back to normal in terms of the mask mandates. I know Philadelphia, you guys have just reinstated the mask mandate in the city. And I know other cities are probably going to follow. And I know some countries around the world, of course, China's in Shanghai in lockdown, but we're really thankful and blessed that we still have an opportunity here financially to have financial freedom and to be able to do that. So that's a blessing for us here in most of the United States as well. So once again, this is Preach to Me. I'm here to answer your questions for 30 minutes, question and answer session on financial news, financial planning, survivalist prepping, things of that nature. We're all in this together. I appreciate your support. And the markets were closed today, so that's good news. But the last 3 days, they've been down 300 to 400 points on the Dow, S&P 500, and the Nasdaq, and that's to be expected because inflation is increasing. As you know, inflation is up to officially 8.5%, and I believe it's going to be at 10% by just the beginning of middle of this summer. Gas prices will not go down that much; they'll still be above 4.02 a gallon nationally, according to AAA. And so, with that in mind, all of us have been having to make adjustments in our finances and our planning. And like I said, this next recession, double dip recession, is going to be a total recession that's going to affect everybody worldwide, and that's what's going to make it different than the 1929 depression or recession. So we have a question here in the question and answer session. How much money our country, this from Mrs. Love, how much money can our country continue to give away to Ukraine? And also, I've noticed that they will not link this activity towards our inflation. Exactly right. Yeah, that's one of the things I've been wondering too. So far, we've given away over $2 trillion to Ukraine and weapons and food assistance and other assistance as well. Satellite assistance and all kind of things, classified things. That could be a breaking point because we know, Mrs. Love, that the Ukraine crisis is going to last throughout at least this year. So we're looking at all of 22. We're still going to be in Ukraine, regardless of whether there's a resolution in NATO and all that kind of stuff. So we don't have much more money to spend. But you have to remember, we've been living on credit for the last 160 years, America. So basically, we're printing up money just as we're printing up stimulus packages that we got in the past. So that can go on for quite some time. Listen, we thought this economy should have long broke But now we can see this economy has gone on longer than many of us have thought it could because of the money printing. And as long as the U.S. dollar is still the world reserve currency, they can print up a much unlimited letters of credit to Ukraine and other countries. So that's going to be. We don't know the future, but we do know that they can continue to print until the United States loses the dollar reserve, world reserve currency. So good point there. Ms. S says, I see the Russian war getting worse and them using them as a cover and using that as a cover, causing triple collapse in America. Exactly. I do too. I see the Russian war spreading out. The main conflict is going to be the Middle East conflict, but that's going to lead into the Middle East conflict along with the oil and gas crisis. And that's going to be one of the things too, because once the Saudis, who are in control of OPEC, okay, that's also the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, right? That they also have a part to do with the oil. So once that they say that we're no longer going to supply the U.S. with, the majority of the oil that we get, and they're going to get out that or either they decide that the petrodollar, which means the U.S. dollar, is no longer going to be the currency that they trade the oil dollars in. They may go to the yuan. A lot of people speculating on that. That's when things are going to get dicey, Mr. S. That's when things are going to get really, really bad. And we can't. The truth is, America cannot afford another war. As you know, we've just withdrawn out of Afghanistan and Iraq. That's the 21-year war there. We spent trillions of dollars there, and we didn't win that war. There's no official declaration saying that we won that war officially. And so we're in the hole. You're right. So I definitely see that getting worse, Mr. S, and that's going to be a cover for causing the triple. You're right. That's going to be one of the covers that they're going to use along with the health crisis, as you know, that's already been in effect, the different variants. I think we've gone through all of the Greek letter almost. And now they're just naming it BA2 and BA3 or something. But that's going to be the cover too. And then the third cover is going to be some kind of geopolitical issue that's going to come up and affect everybody. And because those are three ways that they can break the economy: with a health scare, a crime scare, some kind of, of course, terrorism, quote unquote, and then a worldwide ban on something that's going to cause everyone to, see the collapse as it is. But it is collapsing. You're correct, Mr. S. That's one of the ways. And so that's why it's so important for us to come together and to prep the way that we need to do, the things that we need to do mentally, physically, and spiritually and emotionally, because we've been on borrowed time for a while now. And thank God that we have this borrowed time, but we need to use it wisely. So you're absolutely right, Mr. S. There's going to be the Russian war is the start, the precursor to the covering up of the collapse that's going on here. When we have shortages of food, when we start having, and really remember back in the Great Depression, they had rationing lines back in the Great Depression. And so guys, we could very well go back to having rationing, some type of debit card given to Americans like the FEMA gave during the Katrina crisis or another crisis. And we could very well go to rationing. If people remember now, a lot of the stores have been locking up. Walmart, there's reports of them locking up meats and stuff in California and all kind of things. There's a lot everywhere we go. There's self-checkout lines with cameras standing in front. You check out your own self. All this is security measures in place because they know what's coming. America knows, the administration knows what's coming, is that shortages are going to be here to stay, and that we are getting into an economic crisis mode. Probably by the fall of this year, December, coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas of this year, because that's going to be the breaking point. That's what everybody's wondering. Mortgage rates are at 5.5%. They're going up to 7% by the end of summer. Food and gas is not coming down. So that tells you that it's not that the inflation is high, it's that the dollar is being devalued and that money currency is not going any further. And it's the dollar's at the end of its life cycle, guys. It's been, 90-something years? Most currencies have failed, The British pound, sterling pound, the yen, Japanese yen, you name it. German Weimar Germany, Zimbabwe, So this is just the life cycle of history, and this is going to repeat itself. And they're doing a great job of covering it. You're right, Mr. S. And Ms. Love, if they continue to spend money in Ukraine, other countries, and not spend money on the homeland and the home front and preparing, what happened to our infrastructure bill? Remember now, we just signed the $1.9 trillion infrastructure bill. This is going to get very dangerous territory here. And because we've wasted so much money abroad to Ukraine, other countries, our infrastructure is going to continue to crumble. And that's a very good point. Since they're going to be wasting all this money trying to be the police of the world and all this kind of stuff, homeland is going to crumble, infrastructure is going to crumble, taxes is going to go up, but not that many people, the number of people working in jobs is going to go down. So the whole tax base is going to crumble, and that leads to collapse, that leads to collapse. So very good questions there. That is a very good point. And so normally, and Gerald Salente talks about this. Normally, they take you to war when all else fails. Okay, just like World War II happened and all these other things happened. This is going to be the modus operandi, but this time it's not going to work because all of the countries are deep in debt, and the United States is leading the way as the number one debtor nation, and they're also um, leading the way with not just $30 trillion of debt, but they have $200 million of unfunded liabilities with pensions and all kind of other stuff that can go underwater. That's what's going to be so different about this collapse, I think. Any other questions you guys have for me in terms of what we've talked about in terms of preparations and what you're doing, what you see coming? I know that security and food and your spiritual preparation in terms of your mental preparation is going to be crucial because we're going to see a lot of events that we didn't think were possible in America, being as a first world country now. So your spiritual preparation is possible too. What do? You meditate? Do you pray, yoga, whatever you do? Because it's gonna be a lot that's gonna challenge our conscience and what we have to do as well. And then obviously, food wise, are you storing canned goods? Are you guys drying? Do you guys have a dehydrated, making a dehydrated food dehydrated? You can make dried fruits and vegetables? Do you guys have that in your preparation guide? Do you guys have water, bottled water, filtered water, a Berkey, whatever, life straws? That's going to be crucial when they start queuing, when they start rationing these water, when they start rationing food. They're doing the way where they already go into some of the stores and they limit you in your supplies. Like you can only get 2 cases at Costco or whatever, 3 cases. So that's going to continue into summer once this crisis continues to go on. And you're right, they're going to mask it with different things. First, it's the health crisis. You got to wear masks. Next, it may be something else. Next, it may be only those with the last name of B can go on Tuesdays. Those with the last name of W have to wait till Thursday. It's going to be all kind of rules coming up to mask the collapse of the American currency because they don't want people to panic. And we don't want to panic either. But that's going to be the case. Any more questions? This is a question and answer session for me, Tony. Any questions you have about personal, financial, preparations, inflation, housing prices, car prices, food prices, gas prices, just life in general, just ask away in the comments if you will. This is your time. And I thank you for your support. I've lived in several places in the United States so far. Maybe 8 to 10 states or so. I lived in Florida, of course, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, and Kentucky, everywhere, and Maryland, DC, New York. So I've seen a lot of the prices coming and different things too as well. And they've all changed. It's going to be a worldwide change. There's another question coming in. How will the U.S. be able to afford to support the Ukrainians that are being sent here? Over 100,000 people, Ms. Love says, but yet not one wants to take care of our citizens. How can they justify this? Oh, that's a very good point, Ms. Love. The thing is, we've sent. You have to remember last year. Do you guys remember we had Syrian refugees come in too? We've had 100,000 Syrian refugees come in during that conflict too that we haven't paid for yet. Then we have the border crisis that's going on down in Texas. Something like 1 million coming in every month or something like that. And it wasn't just Mexicans, it was Guatemalans, people from South America, as far south as Brazil was coming in. I don't know if people know that or not. It wasn't just Mexican Americans, it was Guatemalans, it was everybody coming in. And then the U.S. has also got to support the 100,000 people from Ukraine coming in with jobs, food. Bless their heart. I know they're coming in from a war-torn country, but this is going to be a lot of strain on the United States budget, and they know it too, for FEMA, the Border Patrol, for just everybody involved. And so, at the homeland, we're not getting much support here. And the main thing is, once we're in this new world order or new reset economy, is to put everyone who's not in the upper 1% of riches on a level playing field. That's the whole goal of the new world order, or whatever they call it, the new development goals that the UN has at the general UN in Switzerland. That's the part of their goals. So that's how they justify it. It's kind of a socialism. I don't know if you can call it communism, socialism, kind of a hybrid type of government, new world order government. But that's the whole thing, to get everyone on a level playing field. And that's what's going to be happening with the Great Reset, as many people call it. And so there's no one going to be. That's how they justify supporting that, Ms. Love. You've been stockpiling for over 2 years now. Exactly. Yeah, me too. And I still feel like, Ms. Love and others out there, I'm sure you do too, that you never have enough supplies, that you never have enough things. Even though we've been stockpiling, many of us, for 2-5 years, you just never have enough, because you don't know. There's so many things that can come on. There's so many black swan events, guys. You're absolutely right. They can print money out of thin air. Exactly, Mr. S. That has been the problem. The money printing is what caused all of these different things that are going on. Hi, welcome, Daniel. Thank you so much for joining. I see you there in the comments. Thank you for joining us. Ask away any questions you have. These have been very excellent scholarly questions. I appreciate your support. Hi, James. It's so good to see you too, Mr. James. This is so awesome. So we've been talking about inflation. How are they able to justify bringing all of these Ukrainian refugees over? And remember that somebody has to pay for this, taxpayers. And also last year they brought in the Syrian and Afghan refugees, over 100,000, not counting the what's going on in the border in Texas, where we got millions, hundreds of thousands of people crossing, from Mexico and Guatemala and Nicaragua down as far south as Brazil. Some people are telling me they're coming into the country. They have to be supported. They have to be taken care of. Where's the United States getting the money? And Mr. S said they're printing it out of thin air. I totally agree. And that's what's got us into this mess. And unfortunately, it's not an easy solution, but it does mean that our standard of living and European standard of living are coming down. We're coming down, and everybody else on the eastern side, from China, India, the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, and China are coming up. They're coming up, with China being the next superpower. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that's just the way it is. We saw this coming 25 years ago when they shipped all the jobs over to China, the manufacturing and production. It takes at least 15 years to bring all that back. And President Biden and all those guys, whether you're Democrat or Republican, I'm not political, but it's going to take at least 15 years to get all that back to America. So that's the truth, you guys, and we know it. So we just have to go through the pain. And President Biden did admit that we're going to feel some pain this year and next year with the inflation, and he's absolutely right. Definitely. Let's see. So definitely, James. You said that it's definitely good to see you too as well. You say you seem to bring a lot of knowledge to people that live in the cities and parts of America. Yes, the cities are going to be like jungles. And that's why many of you some of you have decided to get out into the hinter suburbs, or even think about getting the property, even if it's a half an acre or a quarter of an acre, somewhere where you can control the bounds of your own acreage or your own, homestead. That would be absolutely fabulous, and so that's my goal too, is to get a homestead, 5 acres or less, just something where I can get away from the city, have my own place where I can secure the bounds of my family, for me and my family, and take care of us, grow our own food, our own water supply. Things of that nature is absolutely crucial when this crime goes up, because crime is going up not just in these big cities like Baltimore and Detroit and Philadelphia, Chicago. We hear about that a lot, LA. But crime is going to be moving into the suburbs, into the hinterlands, okay? Crime is going to be everywhere because there's no new job creation. Guys, when's the last time we've had job creation in the last, 10, 15 years? We haven't had it, guys, okay? We haven't had wage growth. Thank you, Daniel S., for the shout out, for the $10. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ask away, Daniel. Any questions you have, sir, please ask away. I appreciate your support. But like I said, when have we had we haven't had wage growth since 1994, since Bill Clinton was in office, when he signed that bill, and we had a surplus in the budget, the federal budget. And this is in public, private sector, So with all that being in mind, it's just a disaster. You're right. It's just this whole economic policy's been a disaster, guys, and that's why we have to be prepared. And I'm so glad that people like Yami and Mrs. S and other people, Mrs. Love, have been prepping for 2 years. I've been prepping for 2-3 years myself, and I'm still not ready. But you learn something new every day. I learned something from older homesteaders who told me that you need to learn how to can your own food. So I've been working on getting like I have a bread maker and a dried freeze dried. It allows you to basically dehydrate food, like fruits and stuff like that. And they sell in these health food stores for mega money. You can dehydrate your own dried fruits and make trail mix and all kind of stuff like that. So I'm learning how to do that myself. And the more that you learn to do for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, the better you're going to be, because you won't be dependent upon the government so much. Because they're going to be overstressed, overtaxed, overburdened in the middle of this collapse, guys. So you want to continue. So you want to continue to prep, okay? And if you have any ideas for prepping, if you have any questions about that, please let me know in the comments. I'm still reaching out to others in the prepping community to learn the right way to prep too as well, because there's so much there, guys. Now. Oh no, James, it's okay. Yeah. I'm everybody's going through tough financial times. Bless your heart. It is extremely tough out here. Even for those of us who still have a job, it's still extremely tough. And you're right, Yami. That is awesome. The money and everything is tight. And just, I hope you can be able to get through that. My prayers are with you, that God will strengthen you through your time of financial struggles right now. There's a question coming in. She says, "So is it true that the Ukrainians will live rent free?" Yes, it is. The Ukrainians that are coming in will be rent free. There's a rent moratorium for them that's been extended. I don't know when. I think it's to the end of somewhere, August, something like that. But that did come out in the news 2 days ago. So the Ukrainians will be here free. They will help them get jobs, and some of us, we'll still have a homeless problem in America, especially in LA. There's still 20 million homeless. So, definitely we'll do that. Um, Daniel S. Okay, you said, have you thought in mind? Have a thought in mind? Do you think with all the debt that the people are owing to the government and the banks, wouldn't they find a solution to keep the people to still be able to pay the debt? Well, that's tough. If we're going to a one world monetary digital system, right, a tracking system, which many people believe that we're going to, the debt will have a debt jubilee for those who want to join the new system. I'm not saying it's Bitcoin, but it could be a digital system that they can track. Obviously, that would be better. And you think about it, most of our money's digital anyway. We barely go to the banks now. Most of it's on a card, on a plastic card that we use, and we swipe it, and that's it. So I think that they could go to that. They would find a solution. But in the life cycle of currencies, you and I know, Daniel, that every currency has a life cycle, from the Turkish lira to the Japanese yen to the sterling pound. They've all died in 90 to 100 years or more. So currency has a life cycle. So they are going to end up scrapping it, because the United States is $30 trillion in debt. So think about it. If they raise the interest rates, right? The United States they can't afford to raise interest rates, because they can't service the debt once the interest rates get to a certain height, their own debt. And so they're going to default anyway. So they're in the catch-22, Daniel. So they would find a solution, because they want us all to be debt slaves, but they can still achieve that by having the digital system, because once they put us all into the digital system, whether it be a chip, a magnetic chip like Amazon has, where you go into some of these stores and you don't have to pay, it's already on your phone. That's what they can do, because they can still track you, and technically you're still in the debt, because they can add and subtract debt to you electronically. So we'll still be as debt slaves to them, to the powers that be, to the elite, because they can enslave us even further with the digital system, because everything is known, everything is traced, what store I went to, what I bought, and they can add and subtract money to my account depending on how good behavior, the social credit score that China has now, depending on my good behavior. I don't want to get censored, but just say that depending on my good behavior, that's what's going to be going on. So yeah, they won't find a solution. They'll just go digital. They'll scratch it and we'll go digital. Guys, are you able to see me okay? I'm saying I'm slowing down here. YouTube is saying I'm just slowing down my stream here. If I'm buffering, please excuse that. I'm trying to figure out if it's still going or not. But it says it's going, but it says it's buffering. So guys, if you see me buffering or it's freezing up in the comments, please let me know. Can you hear me? Yeah, it can. Yeah, guys, are you still there with me now? Hello? Just let me know if in the comments, are you still there with me? Let's see. Oh. Hi, guys. Yeah, so if you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat, because it says I'm buffering here. So I'm trying to figure out, why am I buffering? Oh. Okay, so guys, am I still here with you? Oh, can you hear me now? So that's one of the things that you have to do. You have to be able to realize. Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, great. Okay, so that's one of the things that Yeah, it said I was buffering there. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It said I was freezing up for some reason, but I was like, so anyway. So yes, the move to the digital social credit score is what's going to be. We're going to follow after China's pattern. And what that's going to do is allow them to track every dollar and everything, and still keep us under debt, with big debts, the big ticket purchases, like, houses, cars, boats, homesteads. We're still going to make payments on that, but everything else is going to be forgiven. The new old system is going to be forgiven. They're going to reset the old system. That's called the Great Reset. We don't know when that's going to happen. It could be this year. It could be 2024, 2025, but it's going to be before 2030. Because that's part of the UN's development goals, is to get everyone on the same playing field financially, morally, and all that stuff. So It's gonna be before 2030, but that's the new Great Reset. Daniel says, I don't know how in the States. Oh, but in Europe, they recently introduced a carbon score for companies. Yes, I've seen that, Daniel. And if you get below the score, you will not be able to get any financing. Exactly. That's one of the parameters, okay, that President Biden, and not only that, President Trump was talking about that too. That's why he tried to withdraw us from the Paris Accord, the Climate Accord. So yes, that's one of the ways they're going to put stipulations on not just government money, but on other money too, private money, donor money. Stipulations on, like you said, yeah, if you don't join us, if you don't reduce your carbon footprint, if you don't believe in LEED certification, a lot of these buildings. So companies are avoiding that right now by having a lot of their employees telework and do things like that, work from home and all of that. But eventually, those buildings are gonna have to be used because they got leases on. They got commercial, mortgage-backed securities. They're gonna have to get use out of that. So you're right, Daniel. It's like that in the States too. Some companies you can't get funding if you're not LEED certified, if you're not environmental friendly, if you're not a portion of your building is dedicated to that, you won't get any money. So that's entirely true as well. So that's another stipulation too. So for us to survive as common people, a lot of people talk about bartering, but bartering is going to be different this time around. It's not like, I give you an eggs, you give me eggs, and I go fix your car or something like that. It's not going to be that kind of bartering. The bartering that we're going to see in this current day is going to be more so exchange of technology resources and things of that nature. Like somebody help you to write your resume or help you to write your computer story, and you in turn do them a video edit or something, or graphics, or help them out in church or something. It's gonna be that kind of thing, more of a morally technical type of thing. Whereas in the bartering and during the Depression was more of a stipulations where I give you a rope, you give me a couple of chickens or something, So that's going to be one of the differences too coming up in this. And this is going to be a worldwide depression. And Daniel's right when he said that exactly these stipulations that these companies have to face, you won't get any financing. If you're not doing what they ask you to do, the government and other people ask you to do in terms of maintaining the proper social regulations and everything, you won't get any financing for your company or for your business. So Daniel, you're right. That's coming. That's already here in the United States and Europe, and that's spreading already. That's already in China, South Korea, I think Singapore, Japan, those countries too, and it's spreading around the world too. That they're tying money with a bunch of strings attached now, and that's one of the things I'm concerned about too. Well, even in this platform, YouTube, they obviously ban you and censor you or demonetize you if you mention certain things. You know what I mean? And so that's another thing too that we have to be looking to as preppers and as a total world community, as regular people, working people. So yeah, you're right. Any other questions that anybody else has? Please be sure to put them in the comments. This has been a great session. I'm learning so much from you guys, and I hope this has been beneficial to you guys as well. I'm live in the flesh. This is Tony. I live in the United States. I've lived in the Northeast. I lived in the Southeast of the United States. The only place I haven't lived in the United States is the Pacific Northwest. So I have not been to Seattle, I think, or Portland. So any Pacific Northwest folks out there, I'm sorry, but I'm getting to you guys. I'm traveling this coming summer and this coming fall. I'll be out there speaking and stuff, some other speaking engagements out there and stuff. And just trying to get the word out to people as best I can that we're heading into serious times, but at the same time, we're blessed right now to still be able to support our families and ourselves, as best we can. Some of us now, our prayers are with James. I know that he mentioned that he's going through some hard times right now, so I'll definitely keep you in my prayers, James. Sir, you've been a big support to me, and definitely in my prayers and thoughts, and anybody else too. And I ask you guys to keep me in your prayers too as well as I continue. It's not been an easy journey, but I'm so happy that I'm learning new things. I'm going to do this live stream today. Just this week, I actually was on the suggestion of one of my dear members here, Daniel S. I got a shout out to him because it was a suggestion of him for the whole QanA session. So shout out to Daniel S. today for the live stream. And so I'm still working on the background and the other thing. The thing I wanted to do, the background and everything. I'm still working on the video technicalities and the software, of course, this OBS thing, but that'll come in time, and I'm very appreciative to everyone here So, but yes, there's so much global sign that we went from this economy went from being a global economy, and now we're reversing to what's called individualism again. And individualism, we're going from globalism, which we got put into the 1990s, and it with NAFTA, the free trade agreement, and everything, to individual economy, which means that countries are protecting their individual interests now, and that's going to put us all into a depression. Yes, Turkey, Sri Lanka, a new bunch of countries, Daniel, will not soon they can't pay the debt. Exactly, exactly. Yes, you're right, Daniel. That's exactly the problem. Miss Love, why are you in trouble then? You mean about the financial trouble? We're all in the same boat, but we're gonna be okay. I think it's gonna be there's gonna be ways that the average person can still they're still gonna need manpower, even though automation is trying to destroy our economy, robots and automation. They're still gonna need humans. There's something about us that God put in us that is gonna sustain us. That only we can do certain things. Robots can't replace humans. Human touch, human feelings, human emotions. And so that's why this economy, even though as bad as it is still going to need human work and human ingenuity. So don't be discouraged, Miss Love. You're doing the right thing. Keep prepping, keep praying. You're doing the right thing. Daniel, you're right. Yeah, one step at a time. You're absolutely right. Um, Blue, Miss Love says, what are your thoughts on blue crypto? I haven't really studied blue crypto that much, so I really don't know much about it, to be honest with you. I only know the big players, of course, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, and that's some of the other stable coins. If you do choose to invest, I do believe in diversity. I'm not a financial planner or advisor, but I do believe in diversity. So if you're in the blue crypto, dabble a little bit, but it should never be no more than 5% of your total crypto portfolio. Any one of these new coins. So just remember that. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a planner. I haven't studied on blue crypto, but I do know the bigger players, like of course Ether and all the rest. So Miss Love, if you do, just the bare minimum, because remember, don't invest much that you can't afford to lose. And this is totally volatility. The crypto market is following the stock market in the volatility, and so it's going to be up and down. So just a little at a time, baby steps. Do have some, because I do believe in diversity of all asset classes, but don't bet the whole farm on it. No, not on blue crypto. Not yet. Not yet. So that's my thoughts on that, Miss Love. Thank you. That's a great question. Uh, and also, of course, gold and silver is good, but like I said, gold and silver, like Warren Buffett says, it doesn't really make you money. It's there. It kind of preserves money. So I'm kind of big on gold and silver, but not really, because at the end of the day, if somebody has a loaf of bread and lentils, and you have a gold thing that you need, people are only going to pay what it's worth. I'd rather have the bread and lentils that I can eat and actually utilize and be able to do work outside and do real work than than to do that. So yeah. Um, Daniel says, I really like to see you keep updated on the news, and also you have any history knowledge. From what have you got that? Oh, okay. Um, hmm. Well, part of it was from my studies, my undergraduate and graduate studies in Florida. Was in a lot of it was in history and public administration, and politics. So that was what one of my masters was in. One of my masters was in that. And also, Daniel, I was on the my college Brain Bowl team. I guess you call it Jeopardy team, and that was my specialization. Was world history, politics, and geography, geopolitical conflicts. So that's where I kind of been taking abreast for that. So great question, Daniel. Um, so that's how I keep abreast of those, and I still do that. I still love history. I'm a history buff. My dad was a history buff as well, a political science person as well, and an attorney. He liked law and law enforcement, stuff like that. So that's where I get it from. I like that. It's chip off the old block, and so I continued to study that in graduate school and I got dual degrees in that, and so that's where I get my knowledge from, Daniel. Trading, yes, Miss Love. Trading is very important. Investing is key, and passive income is key to be able to sustain us in the next 2 years through that. Yes, Danny. They are paying big time. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. You can never exhaust historical precedents, but precedents is what most people use. If you notice, a lot of these decisions that are made, not just on the Supreme Court, but other economic and other things, are based on precedents. Paul Volcker in the 1970s, the inflation got up to what, 19%, right? and people are using that as a precedent, as a standard, right, to what Chairman Jerome Powell is going to do. And I doubt he'll raise and rates that high, obviously, but you never know. But people are looking at the precedent, things that happen in the past, so that's very important. So yes, Miss Love, trading is very important. Whether you're trading cryptos, to me, I would much rather be trading cryptos right now than to be trading in this stock market. I don't see that much deals unless you're trading on the down. If you're shorting stocks, on the downs, on the downward slope, or you're doing options or something like that, trading options, that's fine. But to me, that's where the value is. But I would much rather be trading cryptos right now than to be trading stocks. So that's my thing. Um, and I don't have that much cryptos. I'm just saying I would rather be doing that. So you're right, Miss Love. Keep studying on cryptos, but do your research. And there's some good ones out there, But don't bet the farm on it because you know that it's not something that you want to do that. So another thing too is, guys, uh, if crime gets to be to a point that it's unbearable in a lot of the United States, I don't know how crime is in Europe and other countries, but crime in the United States has gone up tremendously this past year. And do you guys think there's going to be another financial lockdown or a lockdown coming after summer? When things are warming up over here, do you guys feel like there's going to be a lockdown coming again? Or you think we're done with this past mass lockdowns? Some cities are reinstating mass mandates, and it's really going to hurt the economy. None of these small businesses will come back. None of the properties have come back at all. So I want to know: do you think that there's going to be another lockdown this coming fall after the summertime? I believe there's a 50% chance of another lockdown, whether it's related to the health crisis or not. I think a lockdown is coming, guys, and I hope not. I pray not. But the way things are going, it looks like there's a lockdown coming. Crime is on the rise. There's still shortages in the grocery stores. I don't know if you guys have seen that. There's still blank spots in some of the grocery stores in terms of food and different shortages. And so the economy's not looking strong right now. And so I'm wondering, do you guys see a 50-50 chance of another lockdown coming for the health crisis coming either this summer or after the summertime in August, September when the kids go back to school again? I believe there is going to be a 50-50 chance for a lockdown just before the midterm elections. I think so too, Yami. They're gonna pull something and maybe it's gonna be September, October, somewhere between that August, October thing, because remember the midterm elections is coming up and all this other stuff. So I think there's gonna be another lockdown. Remember, we still have, I think in San Francisco they had over 50% of the businesses still closed, guys. I'm talking about small businesses still closed. How are we gonna sustain that? Where are they getting the money from? Is this gonna be a chance? What happened to the talk of a fourth stimulus check? That's what I want to know. They told us that we may be receiving a fourth stimulus check that has yet to materialize. The elderly folks have been telling me that the Social Security got a cost of living adjustment, I think of about 5 to 8%, but it was eaten up by inflation. So where are we going to get the money, to get that? Perfectly man-made says, I don't think we even have till summer. I totally agree. When this mortgage rate hits 7%, guys, after May, remember they're going to hike, the Federal Reserve is going to hike rates in May 50 basis points. That's coming up, right, after we celebrate the holiday of Easter and Passover. In May, they're going to hike it 50 basis points. In June, they're going to hike it 50 basis points, of maybe even a full percentage point. But that still wouldn't be enough because inflation is at 8.5%. Real inflation, according to saddlestats.com, is at 17 to 18%, guys. So we're at 20% inflation. So that's not going to do nothing to cool the prices in the housing market, in the credit market, in the car market. I couldn't believe it, guys. I was out looking for a used car. Just a Honda or Toyota. They want over $40,000 for that. For a Honda or Toyota, guys. Just a used car. Not even new. I think it was like 2 or 3 years like a 2019 or something. 2018 used car I was looking for. They want $35,000 to $40,000 for that truck, for a Honda or Toyota truck. I think it was a Tacoma or something like that. Guys, prices are going. This is for used cars. So I can't imagine what a new car is going to be now. And then with the crime going on and the unrest, I don't think we have till summer. You're right, Perfectly Made Man. So when do you guys think that the lockdown is coming? I think another lockdown is coming probably in August, I would say. Sometime late August, I believe that the lockdown of a Black Swan event is coming. Now, in Europe, there's already been unrest, not just in Ukraine, but there was unrest before the Ukraine conflict in Spain, in Portugal. People were saying young people couldn't find jobs, summer jobs and everything like that last summer. So can you imagine, we got all these graduates coming out from college and graduate school, and they're not going to be able to find high paying jobs. Now, granted, you can go to Walmart. I went to Walmart. They said they were hiring. I think it said $15 an hour starting. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't know what part of the country you guys are in, but $15 an hour sounds pretty good. I don't know if that's before taxes or after taxes, but that sounds pretty good for young people that were coming in college or going out of college, for like a high school job or something. So you see all these signs now hiring guys, but I don't really think they're hiring. I think what they're doing is collecting a database of people, a repository of people that they might hire. They might hire 1 out of 500 people out of that list of people that came in, because we're moving to the automation, the robotics economy. And I want to know, what do you guys think about robots and automation taking over cars, taking over these jobs in manufacturing and technology? How are we going to sustain a human workforce when the businessman wants to collect all of the money and not pay any retirement benefits to our generation, to millennials, to Gen Xers, and those Gen Yers and Gen Zers? So how is the retirement structure going to look when we have 150 working Americans and we have baby boomers coming to the peak of their retirement years in the next 2 years here? What are we going to do? How are we going to sustain this? Yes, perfectly mad man. They will have to use the lockdown to keep people from going off about what's coming. Exactly. It's all about control. See, this is the thing. And Daniel was mentioning that, hitting that perfect too, about Europe, how they stipulations on the money. It's all about control to keep us from going people from going crazy, basically, and rioting. There's always an excuse, it seems. Perfectly made man says COVID, Putin, failed deals. I think more states start the mask back up, they will say it's just getting bad and we'll need to go to lockdown. Exactly. See, this is all about precedence. China set the precedent the first time by locking down Shanghai, and they locked down another city. They set the precedent during the first COVID. Remember, it's been over. Guys, remember how they said it was 2 weeks to stop the spread? You remember how Dr. Fauci said it was 2 weeks to stop the spread? That turned into 2 years. Now we're going on the 3rd year of this health crisis. And now it's become more about, not about the health crisis, now it's become more about this economy. You see how things are playing out? So you're right, perfectly made man. They are trying to bring in their future, quote unquote, whether we want it or not, right? Whether they use false flag events, whether they use black swan events, somebody goes and, does something crazy and everybody gets locked down, and I can't say too much on that. I don't want to get censored, but guys, that some of the stuff that's happening is not normal for the average person. Okay, no matter what you believe in or it's not normal. This crime, the level of stuff that's going on is totally intentional, and so all of this is going to be an excuse to continue to put control on us, especially when this economy gets bad and when everybody's at home and we're wondering when is universal basic income going to kick in, because they're probably going to go to some form of universal basic income. It may just be barely enough to cover a thing. And like I said before, guys, in a couple of videos, this was like a year ago, 2 years ago, these abandoned malls, strip malls and everything, they're going to convert those to low income kind of like housing shelters or community centers, because they know a lot of people, homeless people, that are going to be, from this next housing crisis that's going to be coming up, is going to be looking for those. So all these old abandoned malls, old abandoned shopping center, strip malls are going to be used for that purpose. I think that's what's going to be too. Exactly, Miss Love. They will not give you full-time hours. These jobs will give you 32 hours, okay, 30 hours, 25 hours, but they'll never give you a full 40 hours, as if that's going to be, and even the full 40 hours we know right now is not enough with this inflation, guys. So this is the crazy thing about it. Perfectly Made Man says, none of this is normal to me ever since Trump becoming president, and this woman, this groping, yeah, woman, exactly. Yes, none of this is normal. Something definitely has shifted. Something definitely is up, right? And so from we can say from 2008, nothing has been normal, okay? When they papered over, they continued to print this money up, phony money up. Nothing has been normal. Nothing has been normal since then, and nothing has been normal. It's going to continue to not be normal. And unfortunately, we're going to be left holding the bag. The middle class, the poor, we're going to be left holding the bag of higher taxes, less services, all the services that we count on, like, infrastructure repair, school repair, all of that's going to be left behind, and we're going to be left with the bill, footing the bill for more and more things, guys. And so we have to really take a look at that as well, as far as what we're going to be doing here. So, okay, guys, it's been a pretty good time. I definitely appreciate your comments. I definitely want to go again to do this again sometime in the future and to get my background and get everything right next time. I'm just like, but I'm so glad that you guys are able to hear me and see me in the flesh live, Tony live in the flesh. Thank you for your comments, for your support, Daniel, Yami, Perfectly Made Man, Mr. S, Mr. Love, everybody here, James, Jock. Thank you all for your support. Continue to watch. New content will be coming out after the holidays, after the Easter, after the Passover. And, I really appreciate you guys joining me for this live stream question and answer session. Have a great holiday, guys. Try to get some rest. Try to reflect. Thank God for all that we have. And we're still here. And I thank you for your support. And I will see you guys on the next live stream. This is going to be a once a month thing. For QanA Session is gonna be once a month, in addition to the regular videos and the regular content that I'm gonna be producing here. So thank you for joining me. This is Tony. I'm gonna be signing off here for the night. And you guys have been fantastic, excellent questions. And I appreciate everyone's support tonight. I look forward to you guys coming back for more. So I really appreciate this. You're welcome, Perfectly Made Man. Thank you, Daniel S. Thank you, Yami. I appreciate everyone's support. And God bless each and every one of your families and everyone. And I'll see you guys on the next live stream. This is a once in a month thing. I'll, of course, post it on the community page when I'm going to give you plenty of time to have the questions ready. And then a regular video feed will just continue as normal. All right, guys. So be blessed. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. God bless. Talk to you very soon. Thank you very much, guys.